I'm just in the process of making coffee, and I think I'm holding the phone upside down. Is it? No? No. Okay. So, it's like 10:30 at night. I'm just making coffee. I got done with a couple of personal readings, or private readings, and I sat down to watch a reading for myself online, just from a YouTuber. And it was like someone was yelling at me about the phrase fear of rejection. And I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Like, I clocked out. I'm done. I just want to chill out. And I saw the zodiac wheel fall apart. But the way it fell apart wasn't like totally. It was, do you guys know what Benny Hill is? Like, like the circus music type of goofy TV show. The entire zodiac fell. The entire zodiac fell in front of my face. Like, it was this wheel that fell apart. And Libra, like, disappeared and dissipated. Like, it wasn't even there. Sagittarius ran off and just disappeared and turned into some other creature. Leo, like, rolled over on its belly and just, like, sighed and didn't know what the fuck to do anymore. Cancer decided to get out of its shell and go become some complete other zodiac because it got tired of being called Cancer. I swear to God, this was like the most ridiculous vision I had. Aries was sitting there like on the side of a mountain, like on nothing. It was leaning on its own horn on the mountain sideways, being stubborn, like, I'm just not going to move. Like, I don't even know how I got here, but I'm not going anywhere. Taurus was busy eating, wasn't even paying attention to anybody. And Pisces was just flying around itself, like, you know those little cartoons like in the Looney Tunes, how there's the stars flying over someone's head when they like get bonked into a wall, like the Roadrunner. Pisces was flying around the head of Virgo, and Virgo was trying to clean up the entire mess. Capricorn was clocking out, like the way I felt like I was clocking out. And Aquarius, sorry, my hand's like resting on this and I'm like squeaking as I'm leaning down. Aquarius wasn't even on the zodiac wheel. It was just gone, like dissipated into the sky. It thought itself into an implosion of non-existence. And then I saw Scorpio like fluttering around like a hummingbird, and then getting so irritated at the entire zodiac being absurd that it just decided to sit down and smoke a joint. So I was watching all of this play out in like a split second in my mind. I'm like, okay, am I supposed to do a reading? And all I kept hearing is fear of rejection is breaking everything apart. And I'm like, okay, which zodiac sign am I reading for? They all seem like they're like they're going crazy. What do I do? And they're like, just explain the story and do a few cards. Okay? So I hope I'm holding the camera the correct way, because the timer is in a different spot now for some reason. It used to be under the record sign, now it's on the left-hand side of it. So I don't know what that means. Maybe like some energy that was blocked is now moving. The Emperor. Look, can you see his face? How he's like side-eyeing something, like he's nervous and fidgeting in those boots. This is such a weird energy. What are you guys doing? It feels like everybody in the classroom or in a hotel room is suddenly quiet, and they're all going, shh, she hears us. Okay, the Emperor, the Queen of Wands, and Death in reverse. Eight of Wands in reverse, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, Four of Swords in reverse, Page of Swords upright. Okay, secrets, 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 working on something secret, guarding a secret, keeping things from far, like keeping a distance. And look at this. He's looking that way. She's looking that way. The Death card is looking directly at me, and the other ones are pretending they're like, oh my god, please pay attention to us over there instead. It's like the Death card, you know, you see how the sun is still rising even though it's upside down. It's like, hey, I don't want to get too deep into this. Judgment and Death in reverse, again with the Eight of Wands in reverse. Yo, okay. Okay. Look. He knows something. She knows something. Neither of them are saying anything to each other because they're afraid of the change that would come. It's being blurted out anyway, whether either of them want to say it or not, because there's like a third person coming in, spreading the message that was like suppressed. So if this is like a secret birthday party for somebody, like surprise, happy birthday kind of thing, right? Like the person knows that there is something going on. Oh, there is an underlying energy of two people involved in this. One of them wants to say something to the other one. The other one knows that the other one wants to say something to them, but both of them are being quiet and playing coy. But if one of them would open up, or if either of them would open up to each other, a transformative change would occur. Okay, you made your point. Sorry, that's a coffee machine. One more card, and then I'll pull from a few other decks to clarify. I'm sorry. I apologize. I am not laughing at any of you specifically. I see this so clearly, so crystal clearly, and I can feel the vibration of how absurd it is that you even have a fear of rejection. Like, let me look, bottom of the deck, strength. Okay, let me grab another deck, and should we get the dark mirror? Let's get the dark mirror, because you're being, like, I can feel the silliness of this irrational fear of rejection, and I keep seeing the words Libra, Leo, Aries, but instead of Aries, I'm seeing Ariel. Naked before the stars. I'm not going into the numerology in this. I am not going into channeled messages in this. I am simply transmitting to you like the direct thread in this. I'm not going to read farther into this in regards to metaphors or analyses, okay? This is literally the most simplest way I can express this regarding the energy that's being expressed or being clarified. Let yourself be vulnerable. There is absolutely no reason for you to play. Look. There is absolutely no reason for you to think every apple you get is something that's going to make you suffer. Sometimes that irrational fear we have of rejection, of our messages being returned to us and blared out, and embarrassment, causes us to not take steps in the direction that we need to be taking. So if this Emperor is going to speak to this Queen of Wands, this Queen of Wands has to think highly enough of herself to be approached by an Emperor Otherwise, this emperor is going to look at her and he's going to feel like he's too much or too mature or too something, and it's going to feel like an error on his part to communicate to the Queen of Wands. So the transformation doesn't occur, and stagnant energy comes in and stays there until vulnerability between the two and their communication is brought to the surface, even the negative talk. But keep this in mind. You also don't want to be the person who feels less than someone else, so they're constantly giving them the, oh, woe is me, this is what happened in the past, and this is my internal dialogue, and woo woo woo, blah blah blah, coddle me. And this emperor would then go, no, get your shit together. Like, do you see all these jewels in that crown? Do you see the throne? Do you see, like, the beard? Isn't like this doesn't. There comes a sense of maturity with evolving from the Queen of Wands to the Empress. That maturity involves knowing your inner communication and your own kryptonite. If your own thoughts are causing you to withhold communication from someone else, you are the only one to blame for your relationships not moving forward. You see, if you look at this in a way like a therapist, okay? So there's the king and the queen. The queen thinks less of herself than the king. The king thinks too highly of himself to bond with the queen in a equal way. Okay. In between them is the major arcana, the death card. And then, well, they are sandwiched between death and rebirth in a way. You see that? Lily walked right over this person, the Emperor, the masculine energy, and pointed to the Queen of Wands. She walked towards that to this. Now, it doesn't mean that it's the female, the person with the female genitalia, right? Like, that has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the wounded female inner child. The one he didn't acknowledge, the one she spent too much time coddling, but she didn't have a father figure to do it for her, so she looks for the father figure in men. And he didn't have the mother figure, so he looks for the mother figure in women. Vice versa, blah, blah, blah. Issue being, if you were completely honest with each other regarding both your fears and the way you don't communicate, you see this communication that's backwards. It's like the cold shoulder message to the Emperor. And the Emperor wants to see this, but what he's seeing is this. And in order for this communication, this communion between the two to occur, vulnerability must be attained by both. So yeah, this stuff happened. But if you take this out of the equation and you just do it like the Emperor would do it, then what you have between you is genuine, intimate, vulnerable communication that is on a soul level, deep down inside between two people, that has no other choice but to create an epiphany and a movement of yin and yang. You see that? Upright, left, right, downwards, this way, and up. It's like a loop. And this loop is intended to bring these two together. But what's actually occurring is not that. So divine forces are being brought in, and the issue is being clarified as this. As something you would SMH later. Shake your head or whatever that thing is, you know, the SMH. God, I sound so ancient right now. Like the pointless fear and worry, okay? Like, if you put that aside, wouldn't all those swords be better if they were, like, adorned with vines or, like, crystals or fabric or fairy lights? Do they need to be negative thoughts all the time? Does all the baggage you've had in all the other lifetimes and experiences need to constantly be projected The Eight of Wands in reverse with the Nine of Swords. Projections. Internal projections thrown outwards. Like, did this person really do all this to you, or did you make a mountain out of a molehill? And if it was so bad, and you were standing before the throne of, you know, the father figure deity, and this father figure deity is like, bruh, I already forgave everything. But and your energy, your soul, you know, this collective soul of everybody is like, no, but I can't forgive that one thing. That one specific thing that's keeping it from being the Ten of Swords and having the story start over, because it's a loop. There is no ending, ever. Nothing ends. So the stagnation, the lack of movement forward is because of the fear energy that has caused repetitive, stagnant belief systems to be formed that prevent communication externally, but create constant tension of communication internally. And if we're going to look at this as advice, it is to just fucking do it. Emperor, Judgment card, Death in reverse. Just do it. What was once over, and I just noticed, I'm looking at the screen over here instead of the card. I just noticed this. The Death card is walking through the light of love to come and alleviate this pain that you experienced in the past, but in order to do so, the communication has to become external. It has to go somewhere. It can't just be stuck in your head like the what ifs and the regrets and, you know, asking for forgiveness or thinking you forgave yourself. Well, if you forgave yourself, then being naked before the judgment of the gods, the male and female, right? And you're there in front of them, then you should have no problem being a child of the divine to put that fear before them and say, this is what I'm afraid of, but I'm also aware that it's fear, which means it's unreal, so I'm willing to communicate. Communication, 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 communication between cellular structures and light atoms and consciousness itself. Communication, creativity, fertility, beauty. Communication, action, fertility, power, responsibility, dignity, integrity, nobility. No kingdom is formed upon unforgiveness. No divine being can walk into any dimension while it holds negativity or unforgiveness within it. You can't go from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension if you're carrying this behind you. You just can't do it. The fifth dimension and higher do not vibrate on a vibration of regret, remorse, pity, guilt, blame, projections, victimizations, narcissism, closed hearts, all of that negative sword stuff. So when you strip yourself naked of all those swords, and look at that, it looks like all the threads coming off of her were like little swords, right? When you free yourself of that, and you actually let yourself communicate, even if it's expressing pain, you're letting it out. You're letting yourself be vulnerable and cry. You're letting yourself, you know, express what you experienced. 1 + 8, the 9, the lessons. The light expressing the lessons to the dark to the light. A balance of the two. Bringing about a reconciliation, recovery, healing, resurrection, a rebirthing, a freedom, a levity, a sigh of relief, an apology, a nice to know ya, see you later, like, you know, it was good, blah blah blah, like that, like a peaceful, you know, the worst is over, the war is over kind of thing. Like, it's okay to look at the light now. And the sunflower also always looks at the light. The Queen of Wands is looking at the sunflower. The Emperor is looking over what we can assume is the sunset or the sunrise. You know, instead of looking at the mortal world, he's looking at the energies of the ethers. Like this king, this emperor, I almost want to call him the King of Wands. It's like he's waited, but even the masculine energy, the man in the relationship, the action or whatever that energy is, right? Person A, person B, the other person, the energy is shared between them. So whenever this person has this negative thought, she would feel it. When she has it, he feels it. So in order to balance the two, the communication must cease being astral and psychic and mental and become more energetic and physical and tangible, because it won't just be pointless communication. It'll be actually something that blooms and thrives. Look at that. It goes from communication that is cold, hard, and steelish and like metallic and in the dark, internal. Remember, this was a reverse. But if it goes like this, it blooms. There's water, there's sunlight, there's clarity, there's a release. 20 minutes, come on, bruh. All right, one more card. Let's do the last unicorn. What advice do you have? Okay, first of all, whoever is watching, right here and right now, I am asking all of your guides to give you guys this message, because I seem to always give stuff that goes over, not goes over, but it's like multi-dimensional messages. So, Five of Swords in reverse. I think that's pretty clear. Don't betray yourself of the love you are worth and you have manifested. There's the Emperor again, the Chariot, and the Eight of Wands again. Now the energy shifted. I feel that. Look at that. Eight of Wands, the Emperor. Now the Emperor isn't looking in the other direction anymore. He's looking right at the reader and right at you. There is a burning passion for that which you want, which is to communicate, to shield your being from the serpent that has manipulated your life into constantly thinking you need to defend yourself. Do you know what happens in the book after this scene? The prince on that horse, well, spoiler alert, makes a dress out of that snake, out of that dragon, and gives it to the one he loves. So he conquers his fear and goes to his partner, his or her partner, because you realize now that what you thought was so unforgivable, those Three of Swords, right? Like something so traumatic and so wounding. And then all those years and moments of disbelief and just false beginnings and all those false prophets giving you clarity, like all of the times you were so disappointed at this love you could have had that seems like it was just glittering dust in front of your eyes. Well, somebody came in and kind of, and I apologize for saying it this way, this person that came into your life recently after you had a previous breakup. So there is a relationship you were in previously, probably more than 3 years ago, probably up to 5 years ago. Actually, I'm being corrected right now really intensely, and I'm sorry for what you went through. The relationship you were in lasted 3 years, and it was with a person who really, really screwed you over. The reason they did that, they came in to get you to remember the decision you walked away from previously. Notice the couple in the background and the Two of Swords, which is the decision card, the choice, the path. You made a choice to go towards this version here of this blue magician. This magician here is called Shmendrik, and he's also the one who, in a bittersweet way, saves this character and also wounds her in a way where her soul becomes wounded forever. It's the same like that's the same energy. So prior to 3 years ago, you were probably in a relationship with someone who you were really, really in love with. And that relationship went in one direction. It went off into a, notice this here, the arrow pointing at the dragon. It was like a battle occurred between you and this person, and the individual, the male, or the knight figure in that one, see the red coat here, the red cloak there, walked towards another person. They were with this person for about 3 years. Now this other person, this third supposed party, could be, self-isolated experiences with with like random hookups or something. It doesn't mean a long-term monogamous relationship. It could be a parent that they went and lived with. It could be a friend that they roommated with for 3 years. It could be any relationship, even a career choice you made for 3 years. That choice that was made 3 years ago, one ace of swords for each year, points you back towards the thing you defended yourself from, which was disguised as a dragon. But the dragon was actually the dress of the princess you were looking at. But what you could see is the dragon that caused you to defend yourself. And as that person ran away and walked away towards this other emperor, this other person notices what happened in their life. And it's almost as if by the serendipity and synchronicity of the universe, that white horse runs off and comes back transformed with a strange like empowerment. Look at that. Like the unicorn becomes the horse that death rides in on. All that innocence and purity, but it's also the thing that carries people to the next world. Like the juxtaposition of this seems very, very interesting. So this having been in reverse tells, and I'm certain you know many of the meanings of this card, that the betrayal you experienced, vice versa, regardless of which role you played, whether it be the third party, whatever that might have been, including God itself, to the, the more masculine and the more feminine, the more receptive and the more action-taking person in the relationship, whatever role you played, if you can communicate, the key being the Eight of Wands, because it's come out twice, and the Judgment, and also the Emperor twice. This could also be an LGBT relationship, two men, that one of them went off to do something with somebody that had blondish kind of hair or reddish kind of hair, and they really didn't want to be together, and the more time they spend together, the more they realize they don't want to be together. The realization of knowing that they don't want to be together reawakens the realization of what they do want to be together with. And the situation here seems to point at the person wanting to come back is really afraid of the rejection. Like, how could you take me back? Look at all the horrible things I did to you. But this person that they're going back to is completely like, I'm feeling such a neutral tone from this. Like, I don't even care. It's almost as if like they'd rather just sit there together under a blanket than talk about this. But the person that would make that blanket moment happen is afraid of this. And again, Lily's like, just walk all over that fear. Who cares? What's more important, spending a time under a blanket with that, or worried about this because of that and mistakes of the past? It's time to call yourself out. There's no reason for you to be in hiding if all you want is to... Yo, go get the love of your life, dude. What the fuck? 9 of Cups and the Star? Okay, seriously, this is coming from the human version of me that's lived 40 years on this fucking planet. And I've seen way too many love stories, okay? Guides, I don't want to hear it right now. The people watching this video need to hear this, okay? So everybody take a seat. When you have a relationship in your life that causes you so much pain to think of it, whether it's pain of disappointment of how good it could be, or whether the disappointment of all the things you should have said but you didn't, and all the things that you could have done but you didn't, do not allow yourself to create regret for your future incarnations. Just don't fucking do it. If there is some person, some being, even a career choice or a vibration you're in that you want to go back to, the only person stopping you is your own paranoid thoughts. No one else. Your own paranoid thoughts. In every movie we've seen that's a love story, what point in the movie do we always yell at the fucking screen, you guys? The part where the guy should tell the girl he loves her, right? Or the girl should just kiss the guy and get it over with. She should take charge. It's always that moment where we're like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't make that move. Right? Or those moments in the films where they're like fast forwarding, they're like 4 years later. Like, no, what happened in those 4 years? What happened to our favorite characters in these stories? What happened to all those promises? What happened? What happened? What happened? Why waste the wishes made that have come true in your life on empty fucking booze? Like the booze of life, you know? the things you suckle on that make you think like that this negative self-talk that you tell yourself is worth it. You know, the poison that we drink to numb ourselves to the mistakes we're making. How much longer will you allow yourself to squander the opportunities in your life based on fearful thoughts? This card knocked over while I was moving. The Knight of Coins. You can make steady progress in this relationship with yourself or whatever this other energy is that you are having a fear of rejection of. Okay? You can have slow and steady progress, but rest assured, the person that you would be going back to is going to require you energetically to truly, truly, truly be as transparent as you can. Notice even the thing he's drinking is transparent. It's like a memory. It's a transparent truth of what he wants to experience. He's not drinking it thinking, oh, it could be orange juice or wine or cherry juice or, you know, Dr. Pepper or anything. No, he's thinking, the skeleton is thinking of something very specific it wants to consume. It's not in those other cups it's had. It's something in that. And that's fear. And that's fear. Notice the sphere. The sphere. I think there was another one somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you allow other people's emotional experiences, other people's passionate opinions, other people's real life experiences, and other people's judgments and criticisms and worries and fears, if you allow those other people's opinions to smoke and delude and cause illusions within your own life and the power you wield for the rest of eternity and infinity, then you would be adorning your crown with lies based on other people's experiences, and no one would ever know the true potential of who you are, because you would be covered in the smoke and accomplishments and mistakes of other people. Do you want what you want? Does it hurt when you're not with what you want? Do you constantly think as if you're talking to this person in your mind or in your heart? If you do, does that bring pain? Are you aware that that pain is telling you that you miss someone? If you miss someone, that is telling you that you care about someone. If you care about someone, that means you talk to someone and express how you feel, regardless of what happened regardless of what you felt or what they felt, regardless, regardless, regardless. Slow and steady, step by step. Get to the point and balance yourself. Even the armor he's wearing is cloth. There is nothing to defend yourself. The worst cards in here with negative energy expressions were these two. And both these cards are illusions. Absolute illusions caused by your own negative self-talk. And that negative self-talk, do you know what it does? That negative self-talk is constantly cleaning up the trail of slime it leaves behind as it's manipulating your life. It constantly makes more and more things seem wrong to justify the wrong it already made you do. One sword after another of mistakes and regret. It'll never stop. You know this. You know this. Look at the wisdom of the magician. He's showing you right now. It will always continue this way if you don't change. And the only way to change is to admit you want what you want. It's an overflow of emotions, right by the heart, pointing you exactly to your North Star. And the only person in your way is who you thought you were. I'm not even picking up this other person's energy, like they're in almost in a way being shown like they're staring at a garden somewhere, like they're not even paying attention. Their energy is just off doing something, looking at the death card, waiting for transformation. It's the Emperor that's having the issue. I feel like getting one more card, but I don't really know which one. So the fairies. Another 9. The lesson of your life is multifaceted, like a tree growing branches or a flower growing petals. You can ignore one branch long enough, but eventually it will bear fruit that you will have to taste. Do you want that fruit to be bitter and regretful and grudgy? Or do you want that fruit to be sweet and kind and full of light? Your choice. Soul Shrinker. If only I could squelch this voice inside of you that tells you you're not worth it or someone else isn't worth loving. How shameful to listen to that. And how shameful to think that you are someone who is allowed to judge if someone else is worth loving. It's not up to you. If you love someone, it's the God in you that loves them, and it's not up to you to deny them forgiveness or communication or even a goodbye or a hello or a good job on that promotion, or like, Mom, you know, you're doing amazing. Here's a lovely text for being an awesome lady. Like, don't let the fucking soul shrinker take those beautiful, simple moments you could be having with people just because it makes you feel arrogant and justified in your negative vibration. Ew. You know better than that. If God isn't going to do it, what makes you better than God? If your spirit guides have the audacity to forgive everyone, including the demons, who are you to hold a grudge against anyone in the world, right? Anybody, it doesn't matter who they are. Like, the biggest lesson as a human being is, as horrible as everyone can be, do you really think that when they stand before God, that God is going to be like, nah, kid, bye. Not in my kingdom. You really think God judges? So remember, this started with the fear of rejection like 20,000 years ago. So, fear of rejection, what do you do about it? You grow some balls or titties and you stop being a little bitch and you do what you're supposed to do, which is be a decent human being. Now, if you want more clarity, be a decent human being. Be a decent human being. Communicate the truth. Be a decent human being. Communicate with passion and honesty and sincerity and creativity. Be a decent human being. If it's in the past, leave it in the past. Stop dragging it in the future just so you can blame somebody for your problems. And for freaking sake, humble yourself. You fucked up too. I fucked up. I, Roma the Reader, fucked up. All of your spirit guides have fucked up at some point. Every single one of your ancestors has fucked up. Every single god and goddess in existence, including Hera and Zeus, has messed up. Even Christ Almighty, when he was born up to whatever age before God, lit up inside him like a Christmas tree, messed up too. He played in the dirt. He had a mom. He had diapers. Who are you to judge anybody? And if someone really hurt you, protect yourself, take care of yourself, but don't become the monster. Don't become the monster. Become the example of what you perceive the fifth dimension to be. Remember, we're on different vibrations. If you're on the third going to the fourth and the fifth, you can't hold grudges because we're all connected. So what you feel, the entire web is going to feel. And if the entire web feels it, bro, you just became the demiurge. You don't want to be that. You want to be the Christ energy, right? Whatever that is to you, regardless of religion, that open-hearted, compassionate energy. So be that, which means as difficult as it may be, maybe that's your lesson. Maybe that's your lesson. To choose love, to choose forgiveness of self and other, to choose to walk away with grace, or to stand together in transparent loyalty with each other and to yourselves. Make a choice and commit. Create the foundations for your future. The moon and the sun, they are all rotating, they're all moving. Consciousness is constantly being conscious. Don't be the block, because nature will just grow all around you and your pain will become a memory of the past. And this life experience would become nothing but a wound to heal, like this relationship you've been asking about would become a wound to heal in a future life experience. Why would you do that when you can change the story now? Right? You hold the power. You hold the bird, the message. You hold the change, the chameleons. You hold the foundations of the sun and the moon underneath you. You don't even need to be grounded. All that's being asked of you is to share your voice. Let that bird fly to whoever needs to hear it. Maybe you're being asked to share a YouTube video for the world based on what you experienced. Maybe the fear of rejection is you're trying to start a YouTube platform and that's the third party, right? The Hanged Man upside down. You can't find your answers within anymore. And you're not going to, well, you can, but they're not going to be as effective as if you were part of a community. The Hierophant, churches, communities, diplomacy, prayer, family, integrity, programming. The Hanged Man in reverse, not looking at it internally anymore, putting that into work outside. Again, the communication going out. Enlightenment being gained, communication going out. So, I'm going to go out here and go get my coffee and I don't know how much clearer this can be to you. There is such love between you and this person that I feel it as if someone is making me watch a movie of two people about to make a mistake and lose the love of their life. And I feel like shaking you. I mean, like, go get your love. You wished for this. But I have no idea who you are. I have no idea what you're doing, where you are in time, where you are in space, if you're a good person, if you're a narcissist, if you've really screwed someone over. I don't know. What I do know is there is a sense of love here, and that love has been diluted with lies, but the love is still there. So if you and this person, whether it's an aspect of yourself, a business you that got screwed over, some connection that you really love that you're afraid of losing, the message coming to you is you will lose it in this life if you do not make peace within yourself. And that's not coming from me, that's coming from your guides. Energy is fluid, it moves in rhythm. And if this energy is in your life right now spurring you into action and you're denying it, it will fade. And it will fade and fade until it comes back in the next life as a traumatic past life memory. And then the next version of you is going to have to go do some quantum healing regression to clear it out. So just take care of it now. Look, share your heart. To love another is the ultimate expression of grace. Go within. When we invest energy in developing our spiritual lives, the outer world begins to take care of itself. You know what that means? We had the hangman in reverse. Vulnerable before the stars, wearing only silk. Go within and find exactly what you want. It doesn't matter. This isn't about the other person. This is about you and how you make peace within yourself before your creator. If there is a thorn in your heart, remove that thorn. Okay? And I'm going to ask one real quick question. How is this person going to feel when you, let's say it's another person. How's this person going to feel when the Emperor makes contact? 3 of Cups. Happy, reunited, relieved, exuberant, effervescent. Judgment again. 10 of Cups. 3 of Wands. Queen of Swords. This person's going to feel like it's too good to be true. They're going to think it's too good to be true, and they don't know whether to believe you or not. And 8 of Wands again to the Queen of Pentacles right behind her. You're sending a message to someone you really care about. Look, an eagle coming down. So you've decided to send a message to the person you really care about that you see as partner material. And that message changes your lives. And the way they'll feel like a queen, a king. They might show you the blade and keep you at a distance slightly, but that's because they're afraid too. So you're both mirroring each other. Wow. Focus. Everything in perfect balance. What are the thorns again? And the bird message. Communicate from your heart. I just heard somebody ask, well, what do I even tell them? What do you tell them? What I would tell them is, hi. What you should tell them is, oh, the truth about how you feel about them. It's almost like they're not even saying hi. Do you see that? It's like, boom, eyes roll back in the head, mouth open, and all they're releasing is the light of the moon. And the moon is the heart. Not the mind. 6 of Cups, yeah. The moon isn't really the mind. I don't know why people say the moon is the mind. The moon is the heart. The sun is the soul. The earth is the body, the life experience. Anyway, it's a lesson for another day. I am being asked to emphasize this again. Go get the love of your life. You wished for them, and If you don't want them, why'd you wish for them? It's like, it's such a silly question I'm being asked to relay to you. Like, this person in your life seems really important to you. Page of Cups in reverse. It's like you're thinking about them right now. Obviously. Eight of Swords, King of Wands. You feel like you really wronged this person and trapped them somewhere. Like, made them feel really bad about themselves. You like did some really bad stuff to this person. Oh, I don't want to feel this. I'm gonna go. You guys, just do the right thing. Like, I don't know what the heck your drama is about, but be more mature than your parents were. Be more mature than their grandparents were. Handle it with more dignity and more compassion, and less of what a TV character would say in a script. Okay? Like, be authentic to you. All these readings can give you so much advice, but if you're sitting there fucking up your love life based on what readers are telling you, like, there's something wrong with you, and you should really get that checked out in the most loving way possible. But really, we're not sleeping with your partner. Us readers, us oracles, we're not doing the energy work between you 24/7. We're getting rid of the interference for you, clearing space, showing you what's literally right in front of you. But we're not living the relationship for you. And the energy I'm picking up, the movies I'm seeing based on this connection that I just read for, your fear of rejection will turn into a very solid actual regret later on in life if you allow yourself to make these immature decisions within your life experience. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole disclaimer thing of like, oh, if this person hurt you, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. That's between you and this person. It's not between anybody else and their opinions. It's between you and this person. Everybody changes, everybody grows, and if this person hasn't changed or become healthy, walk away. But forgive them for yourself. Like, to them, so they hear it too, so your connection can be cleared without having to rip out cords all the time. Like, the best way to remove an etheric cord is to say goodbye to it face to face with the person you have the cord with. It's simple, isn't it? You grow the balls to say goodbye, and there you go, the cord is gone. You want the cord strengthened, you grow the courage to stand face to face and say, hey, I love you, I don't care what we did, we can make this work, right? Let's try to fix this. So whatever you're doing, just be very simple and honest about it. Because if your kid is coming to you asking you what you're asking me or what you're asking your spirit guides, what would you tell your kid? The first question is, do you love this person? Can you spend another 6 months without this person sleeping next to you? Can you spend another year sleeping with someone else while you know that this person that you're thinking about in this reading is off living their life, whatever their life is about? Can you live with that choice? Can you live with the choice of another hour passing by without you making peace with this or whatever you intend on creating that is beneficial for everybody? Like, harm none. Can you go to sleep tonight